Adam, the White Hair Master. Season 2. Episode 33. After successfully controlling the murderer, Adam immediately moved upstairs to find Lee. Judging from his attitude, it seemed that nothing had been found yet. He had searched carefully but still couldn't find the wizard. But with Adam, it was different. As soon as he entered this room, he discovered something else. It was the smell of corpses that wafted through the air. Not only the smell of corpses, but Adam also detected the scent of a herb. After hearing what Adam said, Lee began to pay more attention. He began to focus on the air around him. Sure enough, a few seconds later, he had to admit Adam's discovery. From here, it can be confirmed that the wizard is hiding a dead body in the house, and he purposely used herbs to hide this. Like Lee, Adam looked around the room but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. He knew it would be challenging to find the wizard if he used typical search methods, so he took out an incense stick from his pocket. Adam began to light the incense in his hand to Lee's curiosity, and a thin smoke rose. To Lee's curiosity, Adam began to explain the incense he was holding in his hand. According to Adam, this is called a soul-searching incense. It is used when someone wants to find a dead person but does not know the body's exact location. By this time, Lee also began to notice the unique point of this scent. Different from ordinary scents, the smoke of the soul-searching incense in Adam's hand is not only darker but also more complex to dissolve than regular incense. After being burned, the smoke from the incense tree turned into a thin thread and ran across the room. Its destination was a large bookcase against the wall. After observing and evaluating the bookcase for a few seconds, Adam guessed that this was just a form of blinding. There was definitely a secret room behind this cabinet. Lee showed great confidence in Adam's judgment. He immediately approached and pushed hard on the bookcase. After 2 attempts, the heavy bookshelf finally began to move, revealing a void inside. But before he could be happy about this discovery, Lee was startled by a gunshot coming from inside the room. An unexpected projectile passed through the gap between Adam and Lee, which was really fortunate because this development was entirely beyond their expectations. Immediately, Adam and Lee together drifted to the sides, hiding behind the bookshelf to avoid the following bullets. At this time, Lee immediately said that he was a police officer. He also loudly threatened the hiding person he had surrounded this house and asked him to surrender his weapons. Faced with the situation in front of him, Adam asked Lee if he needed help or not. Contrary to Adam's thoughts, Lee firmly refused. Lee said that Adam has helped him a lot already. Let him handle this. According to Lee, this is not a very complicated case. If he can't solve it, he has no face to take on the captain of the city police crime team. As soon as he finished speaking, Lee immediately took action. With very skillful and professional actions, Lee was able to distract the person lurking inside. While this guy didn't have time to react, Lee quickly left his hiding place. A gunshot rang out, hitting the arm of the person hiding inside. At this point, the person who had just fired the gun could be clearly seen. He was a middle-aged man. It is not difficult to confirm that he is the wizard that Lee is looking for. Behind the wizard was a woman lying on a bed, surrounded by many talismans. When Lee saw this scene, a strange feeling immediately welled up in his heart. Realizing that the wizard still had no intention of surrendering, Lee immediately warned him. Lee said that as soon as he touched the gun on the floor with a finger, Lee would shoot him down instantly. Knowing that he couldn't fight Lee, the wizard had no choice but to obediently do what Lee said. Lee immediately approached and handcuffed the wizard, preventing him from continuing to play tricks. While Lee controlled the wizard, Adam slowly approached the bed where the woman was lying. Seeing that, Lee immediately asked Adam to check if the person was still alive. He was afraid that this was another victim of this wizard. Lee also did not forget to tell Adam to be careful and avoid disturbing the scene before the police arrived. After observing the woman lying on the bed, Adam said something that startled Lee. According to Adam, this woman was long dead, but she was not entirely dead yet. Adam said that because he realized that there are 7 souls sealed on this corpse, which means that the wizard is trying to revive this woman. Through what Adam had just explained to Lee, the wizard understood that Adam was already a very capable wizard despite being very young. Tears suddenly streamed down his face. Accordingly, the young woman lying on the bed was his daughter, who died of a severe illness. He also added that everything was almost done. He begged Adam to let him finish the work to bring his daughter back to life. Hearing these words from the wizard, Adam suddenly sighed sadly. He scolded the wizard because he was all in the profession. He understood more than anyone that bringing a dead person back to life was ultimately against the laws of nature. Not to mention that after being resurrected, his daughter wasn't a real human either. Hearing this, the wizard could only helplessly kneel down. He said that he ultimately knew and understood what Adam just said, but he only wants to see his daughter come back to life. Even if she turns into a zombie, he is committed. As the wizard cried louder and louder, in sobs, he said that his daughter was only 21 when she died, which is unfair. But Adam immediately refuted his thinking, saying that he was just a blind and cruel person. Just because of his own selfish feelings, he killed many young girls to get their organs so that his daughter's body wouldn't rot. Witnessing everything, Lee also began to rebuke the wizard. He asked him if he had ever put himself in the shoes of the parents of the girls he had murdered. The wizard had nothing to say in front of Adam and Lee. He could only bow his head and cry. Until the police came to take him away, he still did not say a word more. But as he approached the door of the secret room, suddenly, the wizard turned around. With a look of pain and despair, he repeatedly begged Adam to help him finish the unfinished business he was doing. Of course, Adam couldn't do this, so he just kept quiet. Although he did not resist the control of the police, the wizard continued to scream to beg Adam. By this time, Lee had also moved closer to observe the girl. He was pretty curious about what the wizard had just said, so he asked Adam to explain it. Still not turning his back, Adam slowly explained. What the wizard was doing was sealing the souls of the living into the corpses. Along with replacing the damaged internal organs, bringing this girl back to life was not impossible. However, to do this has to trade a high price, and the resurrected person is just a soulless corpse, nothing more, nothing less. Also, according to Adam, sealing 7 souls into a corpse is to give it human emotions. But very few people dare to do this because it goes against the laws of nature. Along with explaining everything to Lee clearly, Adam raised his hand and slowly removed the talisman from the girl's forehead. Her appearance immediately changed. From rosy skin like sleeping, the face gradually turned to the gray color of a corpse that had been dead for a long time. After calling the person who took the girl's body away, Lee started back to check on Casson. Before Lee opened the mask, Adam gave a warning. Adam said that this time Casson came back an ordinary corpse, also a corpse that had been dead for many years, so it wouldn't be good to look at it. Despite being warned by Adam, Lee still did not hesitate. He continued to remove the mask. According to Lee, this is not the first time he has faced something like this. He also had to send someone to do an autopsy to confirm everything. As expected of Adam, under the mask is a highly hideous face of Casson, who has been dead for many years. A smell of death immediately hit Lee's nose, causing him to wince and stand up. In the back, Adam advised Lee to quickly complete the autopsy and take the body to burial to avoid more disturbing things. At this point, everything has been clarified. Realizing that there is no longer his business here, so Adam does not want to stay here any longer, he greeted Lee and started walking out the front door. But before Adam could get out the door, Lee called him back and said he needed Adam's help. Seemed to be too busy with this case, so it wasn't until now that Lee remembered it. Adam couldn't bear to leave. Even though he was starving, he asked Lee to briefly tell him everything. According to Lee, the trouble was related to the mannequins in a significant fashion store.